everything that's about to come.
Something is about to happen in this episode, something the show has been quietly building toward for years. And if you think you're ready for it, you're not. Because the trailer for Outlander Season 8 Episode 10 doesn't just tease danger. It hints at a moment that could change everything we thought we knew about these characters forever. Episode 10, titled In the Forest, doesn't feel like just another chapter in the story. It feels like a turning point. The kind of episode where everything slows down just enough for you to realize that something irreversible is coming. And the trailer makes that very clear from the very first frame. There is a silence in it, not peaceful but heavy, like the calm before something breaks. What makes this episode different is the emotional weight it carries from everything that came before it. Episode 9 didn't just leave questions behind, it left wounds. Every character is walking into this episode already carrying something unresolved. And that's exactly why Episode 10 feels so dangerous. Because when characters are pushed to their emotional limits, they don't make safe decisions anymore. Jamie's presence in the trailer stands out immediately. There is something different about him. It's not fear. It's not hesitation. It's something much quieter, something almost unsettling. It feels like acceptance. And that alone changes the tone of everything. Because Jamie Fraser has always been a fighter, a survivor, a man who finds a way no matter how impossible things seem. But here, it feels like he already knows what's coming. And that connects directly to the biggest shadow hanging over this entire season. The vision. The idea that Jamie might not survive what's ahead has been sitting in the background for a long time now. And the closer we get to this episode, the heavier that possibility feels. Every look, every moment, every decision he makes now feels like it could be his last. And the trailer leans into that feeling without directly confirming anything, which makes it even more powerful. Then there's Claire. And her role in this episode feels even more intense, but in a completely different way. Where Jamie's journey feels external, moving toward battle and action, Claire's feels internal, almost like she's fighting something no one else can see. The trailer gives us only brief glimpses of her, but they are enough. You can see the weight she's carrying, the fear she's trying to control, and more importantly, the hope she's refusing to let go of. Because Claire isn't just reacting to events anymore. She's reacting to what she knows might happen. And that changes everything. It raises one of the biggest questions this episode is likely to explore. Can the future actually be changed, or are they all moving towards something that has already been decided? At the same time, the setting of this episode is not random. The forest is not just a location, it's a symbol. In this story, forests have always been places where the rules feel different. Where control is lost. Where characters are forced into situations they can't escape from. And the title itself suggests that whatever happens here, it won't be contained. It will spread. It will affect everyone. There is also a growing sense that multiple storylines are about to collide. Not slowly, but all at once. The trailer hints at movement, at characters heading toward the same point without fully realizing it. And when that kind of convergence happens in a show like this, it never ends quietly. What makes all of this even more intense is how little the trailer actually reveals. It doesn't show the outcome. It doesn't explain the danger. It simply builds tension. It lets you feel that something is wrong, without telling you exactly what it is. And sometimes that's far more effective than showing everything. Because now the focus shifts from what we see to what we fear. And right now there is a lot to fear. Now shifting away from Jamie and Claire for a moment. Because episode 10 is not just about one emotional thread. It's about multiple storylines reaching a breaking point at the same time. And one of the most unstable, unpredictable arcs right now belongs to William. William's journey this season has not been calm, and the trailer makes it clear that things are about to get even more complicated. This is not just about anger anymore. It's about identity, about trust, about a young man trying to understand who he really is after everything he believed in was taken away from him. The biggest shift here is emotional. Before, William reacted with anger. That anger made sense. It was loud, visible, and direct. But now, something is changing. The trailer hints at a quieter version of him. And that's actually more dangerous. Because when anger turns into silence, it usually means something deeper is happening underneath. And that's where things become unpredictable. One of the most talked about moments in the trailer is the scene involving Lord John Grey. There is a weapon pointed at him, and the tension in that moment is immediate. The first instinct might be to assume that this is connected to William directly. Given their recent conflict, it would make sense on the surface. But if you look closer, the situation feels more complex than that. There's a strong possibility that this danger is coming from outside forces. Specifically, from the unresolved threat surrounding Ben and his actions. William's escape earlier didn't close that storyline. It escalated it. And people like Ben don't simply let things go. They respond. They retaliate. So what if this moment is not about William attacking someone, but about him being pulled into a situation where someone he cares about is in danger because of him? That changes everything. Because if Lord John Grey is threatened as a result of William's actions, then William is forced into a position he has been trying to avoid all season: responsibility. Not just for himself, but for others. And that's where the real turning point might happen. Because up until now, William has been running from emotional connections, pushing people away, refusing to accept help. But this kind of situation doesn't give him that option anymore. It forces a choice. A real one. Does he stay distant? Or does he step forward and fight for someone else? And that's where things could get even more intense. Because if the situation becomes too big for him to handle alone, there is only one person he can realistically turn to. Jamie. That possibility alone carries a huge emotional weight. Because this wouldn't just be about strategy or survival. It would be about something much deeper. A connection that William is still struggling to accept. If he reaches out, even indirectly, it changes their dynamic instantly. Not in a perfect way. Not in a resolved way. But in a real way. And that's what makes this storyline so powerful right now. It's not just about action or conflict. It's about emotional movement. About characters being pushed into moments where they can't hide behind pride or anger anymore. At the same time, another important presence in this situation is Amaranthus. The trailer shows her actively searching, not waiting, not stepping back. That detail matters. Because it tells us that her connection to William is not something temporary or strategic. It's personal. And in a story where trust has been broken again and again, someone choosing to stay, to keep searching, to not give up, that stands out. Her role in episode 10 could become more significant than expected. Not because she is leading events, but because she is emotionally connected to them in a way that influences decisions. And when multiple characters are emotionally driven at the same time, outcomes become harder to predict. That's exactly what this episode is setting up. Not just conflict, but emotional collision. Because by the time all these threads meet, William, Lord John Grey, Jamie, and the external threats surrounding them, the story won't just move forward. It will shift. And once that shift happens, there's no going back. Now everything leads here, the point where emotion, destiny, and history collide. Because episode 10 is not just building tension for the sake of drama. It's building towards something very real inside the story. The Battle of King's Mountain. This battle is not just another event happening in the background. It is the moment everything has been pointing toward. Every decision, every alliance, every conflict, they all connect back to this. And what makes it even more intense is where it takes place. Not in open fields, not in clear formations, but inside a forest. That changes everything. A forest battle is unpredictable. There is no clear line between safety and danger. No clear direction. No control. And that perfectly reflects what the characters are going through emotionally. They are stepping into something where outcomes are uncertain, where even the strongest plans can fall apart in seconds. And at the center of it all is Jamie. Jamie Fraser is not walking into this battle the same way he has walked into others before. This time feels different. Not because he is weaker, but because he is more aware. There is a quiet understanding in him now. A sense that this moment matters more than most. And that connects directly back to the vision that has been hanging over this entire season. The possibility that this battle could be his last. That idea alone changes how every moment is experienced. Every look feels heavier. Every decision feels final. And the trailer carefully builds that feeling without confirming anything directly. It lets the audience sit with the possibility, and that makes it even more powerful. At the same time, Claire's position in all of this becomes even more complicated. Claire Fraser is not just watching events unfold. She is carrying knowledge that no one else fully understands. And that creates a different kind of tension. Because while others are reacting to what is happening, she is reacting to what might happen. And that raises the biggest question of this episode. Is the future fixed? Or can it be changed? If Claire believes there is even a small chance to change what she saw, then her actions in this episode could become unpredictable. She might try to interfere, to stop something, to shift the outcome. But in stories like this, those attempts don't always go the way we expect. Sometimes trying to change the future is exactly what leads to it. And that possibility adds another layer of tension to everything unfolding. Now bring all the threads together. Jamie moving toward the battle. Claire carrying the weight of what she has seen. William potentially being pulled into a situation that forces him to act. Lord John Grey possibly in danger. External threats closing in. And all of it happening within the chaos of the forest. This is not just an episode where things happen. This is an episode where choices are made and consequences follow immediately. And that's where the shocking twist hinted in the title might come from. Not necessarily from one single moment, but from the combination of everything happening at once. A decision made under pressure. A character acting against their own instincts. A situation spiraling out of control faster than anyone expected. That's how this show delivers its biggest surprises. Not by making things random, but by pushing characters to a point where they have no good options left. And when that happens, whatever choice they make will change something permanently. So going into episode 10, the real tension is not just about who survives or what happens in the battle. It's about what these characters become after it. Because once this episode is over, the story will not feel the same anymore. Something will shift. Something will break. And whatever comes next will be shaped by what happens in the forest.